15 minutes late. Not good. Okay, so you guys are welcome to this live party. I'm sorry, I know for a party you're not supposed to be listening to Yanni, but this is what I use when I edit. All right, so we'll be looking at these 3 photographs. I had 2 sent to me by someone, and I'll be adding this one. I hope we can go through these 3 in 30 minutes. So generally, when I start editing, I typically bring my photos into Lightroom, primarily because of its ability to organize my work. So in future, when I'm looking for what I've done in the past, it's easier. I love the management technique of Lightroom. So awesome. I'm actually just opening this image, and it's deliberate so that I won't have a prior idea of what the image looks like. And we have one head. I shot this, so I know how this works, but we're going to start with the one that was sent in by a fellow photographer. And it's amazing what's going on in the image. So I'll try my best on what to do and how to handle this one. Just give me a minute. There's still one more person I want to invite to the party. Join. Please guys, let me know if you don't like this music. You can always change it. But typically this is where I'm at when I'm editing. I like to use music that sort of makes me think. So the artist is called Yanni, and I'm listening to the album Tribute. All right, so let's start. So for this image, I think the first thing I like to do is to crop the image. I can crop the image in Photoshop, but I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I want, so what I'm going to do, so the reason why I want to crop it is to simplify the background, because right now I just feel all this portion is kind of distracting. No, I did not mean to do that. Okay, so I feel this open door at the back is sort of distracting, and then this person's here. I just don't feel good about this, so I think I'll leave it to when I get to Photoshop and then see what I'm going to do about the composition of the image. Looking at this one, the problem is more here, so I'm not just going to waste my time. I'm going to crop immediately. Now, when I'm doing a vertical crop, I typically use 8x10 because that's what Instagram understands, except if I'm cropping for, something else, maybe a frame to print or something. But typically if I'm going on Instagram, this is where I'll be. This background is still too distracting for me, but I think I'm just going to leave it as is and then find a way to work on this guy because I don't have a lot of space there anymore. So that's that. This works fine. Let me just let me crop. Oh well, I really don't need to crop this one, but again, for the reason I gave earlier, I'm going to crop it. So let me just check the chat room quickly. If we have anybody in the chat room. There's somebody there. For the reason I gave earlier. Okay, Majek is online. Hello, Majek. You're welcome to the party. All right. Okay, so let's pump this into, I don't know, I would like to do something about the white balance, but I'm not sure. There's a lot to do. I typically look for a reference point. So if we can assume that this woman's teeth is very white, then we can use the teeth as a reference point to get our white balance. Okay, I think that worked. I mean, this is where we were and this is where we are now. But honestly, I think I'm going to undo that because I prefer what the skin look like here. So I'm just gonna undo that. Undo, and yeah. So from here, typically I can just bounce this image to Photoshop immediately, but because of what I'm doing at the moment, I'm doing live stream. I want to reduce it, so I'm going to export to JPEG first before going into Photoshop. So let's go to where we are. Okay, let's do JPEG. So I didn't do a lot in Photoshop, in Lightroom JPEG. Why? Because in these images there's not a lot to do. Let me change the music so that some of you won't sleep. Okay, play the mix. I think that's better. All right, so I think we're able to get down. So I'm moving this 3 to Photoshop, and then this is what I'll be doing for the next 30 minutes. Okay, so let's start with this photograph. So the first thing I'll do, I feel the makeup is okay. So there is not a lot to do as far as facials is concerned. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, except for some. Okay, so I may want to reduce the intensity of the highlight here. So I'm just walking through the image quickly to see what I'm editing. I need to find a way to cover up this because it's just a major distraction in the image, and find a way to work this background also. Why? I don't like it. So let the fun begin. So typically I'll do a frequency separation, and I'm thinking I mean, this space is just okay. I don't think I want to do so much, but because of the highlight I want to remove, I'm just going to run my script. So I have this script from a training I got, and it basically prepares the image ready for frequency separation. So what you're looking for is where the skin is smooth enough, and you click OK. So the way frequency separation works is it creates like two frequencies of your image so that you can treat one above the other. So I was saying there's not a lot of blemish in the skin, but now I'm seeing some here. So you can see this. So I'm just going to remove it. So the way this works is I click on my Alt. So personally we're using the stamp clone tool. I click on my brush and I remove this spot. We click and remove, click and remove, click and remove. So yeah, I saw this earlier. Click and remove, click and remove, click, click, click and remove. So just remove spots that I think could use some improvement. Now there's some flyaways. For this kind of photo, I'm not going to bother so much about the hair and stuff. Why? Well, it's not going on a magazine. Well, I just say I'm not going to worry about it, but here I am worrying. Okay, so I can't remember what this highlight represents. Okay, we can leave it. All right. All right. So I'll then clip this layer to that, and then I turn these guys off. All right, now I come to my low frequency layer and then try to ease this. So I'm coming to brush and I'm picking the mixer brush while working on my, okay. So basically we're just analyzing the colors in the environment of that highlight, you know, to tame it down. So I'll say right about there is okay. There's some other color irregularities around here, so I'm just going to brush them as well. I won't consider this too bad because of the direction of the lighting. It looks kind of hard, so I won't want to make it too soft, you know, because I'm not planning to change everything about the lighting in the photograph. All right. We still have some. Like I said, once you're working with a good skin and good makeup, you have little to no problem. Okay, so I'm done with the subject, and I think the only thing I want to do extra on this way. So let's just check where we were and where we are now. Don't mind the background noise. We're all stuck at home with the kids. So, all right. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to remove everything in the background. Okay. I can see some parts in the background, and this color regularity on the wall. So I think this is where I'm going to stop this for now. So we move from here to here. So this is what we have so far. Okay, so moving on. Let's deal with the background now. So some of the things distracting me in the background is this open door here. So I think the simple thing to do is to just cover it up, even to the floor area here. And the way I'm going to approach this. Okay, let's try a simple color. You know, I really can't see the texture on the door. So I'm thinking, let's try a simple coloring. So let's add a gradient layer. Where's our gradient? Okay. All right. Now I'm going to turn it off and then pick my two colors that'll be going on there. I'm going to double click it and then open the gradient. So I'm going to pick sort of where I consider the brightest point and the color of the door for this bright point here. Okay, I think this is very bright. All right, and I'm going to select this one and change the color to, I think I have 2 points there. I don't want 2 points, I want just one. Okay, so I'm going to choose this point also. So it doesn't look like much, but okay, let me drop the opacity so I see what I'm doing. Okay. Let me save this as select, because I want to do something so that I can come back to it. Where is it? Okay, I didn't click on save. Okay, select. So I want to change it and I want to be able to come back to it. I still can't find it though. Okay, so when I say load, okay, so we have select and okay, I think I'm doing something wrong here. Okay, so linear, radial.
That's my word, so ironic how these phonics are made of frequency. river, see waves that can stir oceans of emotions and evoke old things. I need composure just to compose them.
I just need to be able to see what I'm doing. So right now it says radial, I'm supposed to be on linear, and then the bright point is up here. So I'm just going to change the angle to sort of match the lighting in the room. Okay, so the dark one is supposed to be here. No, that's a bright one, so I'm just going to leave it here. Okay, so now I'm going to return this color, which is a dark one, and then click OK. Alright, so I'm gonna invert this. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to break my brush and then select the normal brush, and then see if I can paint in just this color. Okay, this has to be white. So okay, now we have the color is not blending in well. I could have copied the pixels there and then tried to blend it in together. Okay, I think I'm done. So I think with that I've been able to get rid of the distraction in the background. So the idea is you want to ask yourself, what are you photographing? What are you showing? Okay, so I think that was cool, being able to do that. So we're going to do the same thing also for this top part of this image. My concern originally was to preserve sort of the color here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do Control Shift Alt E to make a merged copy here. And what I want to do there is sort of, you know, copy this wall. Nope, not a good selection. Let's use this tool. Okay, and then I'm going to copy that into a new layer. And then basically I'm just going to move this guy around, you know, and then use it to cover up the background. Why? Because I still like to maintain. Okay, so here I'm going to erase this portion. So this thing is looking long already. Okay. Okay, so this is a very funny approach, but the thing is it works. Okay, so what I'm doing is basically building a new wall behind it. This may be clumsy. I mean, I could have used the technique I used for this other side of the, but you know, just to show you a couple of options. So I'm going to duplicate that and work it in like this, duplicate it again, and until I'm able to cover the entire area. Again, you don't have to use this technique. I mean, it's just fun to show you how this works. Okay, let's group this and then duplicate the group and then bring this down. So I think I've pretty much covered the portion I wanted to cover, and I'm going to group them and probably flatten the group. Convert and then just rasterize it. Okay, let's just undo and just merge, not layers, merge layers, and merge layers and merge these two. I don't know why I was doing a very long merge layers approach before. Okay, so I don't need this again. So someone said, oh, we just messed it up. Yeah, it looks like so. Okay, so I'm going to use the brush again, but again, I'm going back to the mixer brush. All right, and then I'm just going to blend in the colors and the layer. Okay, so what I want to do, Photoshop is now crashing now. Okay, let's check. All right. So I think I might want to increase my flow and so what's going on is that the mixer brush is maybe coupled with the live streaming, and I don't know, it seems to be tasking the system, so I'm not getting an immediate response. Okay, so maybe let me just get rid of this idea. Because the reason I'm doing is basically to maintain some texture in the image, but seeing how the system is responding, I'm going to use a different technique. I mean, the technique we used earlier, the gradient. Okay, so I'm just going to repeat the gradient technique again. Okay, and I'm going to turn this off and then pick my two colors again. So the dark color being the one, let's just say something under this holder there, and then this guy as the bright point. So choosing those two, I'm going to, so the direction is still off, so I think I'm going to do 0 this time. Where's 0? Okay, now looking at this, I think I want to move the layer. Nope, it's not moving. So I'll just move where the color starts. Okay, so invert this, and then I'll just paint that over the entire background, since the entire background is annoying me. Okay. So I'm deliberately leaving some details from the wall itself in there, because I still wanted to feel like it's part of the scene. Okay. Alright. So let's get the edges so they choose straight, and then work this back in. Okay, so okay, I think I finally got rid of the disturbing background at long last. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So, but I feel this part is too dark, so I'm just going to go back in here and choose something brighter. Come to brightness, and then can dial in the exact level I want there. Maybe I could saturate it a little more. Okay, that's too much. Let's go to brightness. Push that. Okay, so I think I'm happy with where it is. So far so good. So this layer was the one I copied, so I don't think I need it anymore, because we've used this guy to clean up. Now I'm still looking at this and it's still looking funny. So okay, so I think I'm just going to pretend from here now that that part of the image is not there again. Okay, so far so good. Now the next thing I want to work on is the teeth. You know, I wanted to do the white balance in Lightroom the other time, but it was affecting the skin, and I really like, you know, the way the skin is presently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hue saturation, and I'll click on the tip with the. All right. So what that has done is selects the color range of the teeth here, so which is somewhere in here. So if I bring down the saturation, you see that the color of the teeth is going. Right now it's affecting the entire image, but we'll flip it in a second. So now we have some other problem on the teeth. You can see the lipstick on the teeth. So we may want to expand this guy a little bit. Move more towards this side. So like how warm it felt like originally. Okay, so before we do this, I think we should just let me see. Can I use a second one to qualify this red? And I think the red has gone too far. Okay. Okay, so what I'm really looking at is a stain on the teeth. Okay. So now that I have the teeth completely white, I'm going to group the two hue and saturation layers and group them, and then add a mask to them, and then invert the mask. So all I have left to do now is to paint back that effect on the teeth. Okay, so right now it looks kind of ugly, but we'll settle all the problem in a moment. The kids are really having fun. Yeah, retouching. Does it take this much time? Depends. Depends on where how comfortable you are with the process, the path you choose to follow for your retouching, and of course the technique, you know.
Download brand new DJ Joe Mix every Friday only on mdundo.com.
We've definitely spent past the 30 minutes, so I don't think I'll be doing the second image of this photo. We'll just go straight to the third one, and hopefully we can finish on time. Okay. So I'm basically switching between black and white and then painting in. See some red there. Okay, so I think I have a good selection now, but you will agree with me that this is just not realistic teeth. So what makes it unrealistic? Basically the color. Our teeth is not so much like this. So I think the first thing I want to do is to increase. So I'm going to copy this mask from the desaturation and copy it on this one. So I just want to brighten the teeth a little more. Okay. All right. So the next thing to do is I'm going to add a color. Let's just say a solid color. You can pick any color for now. Again, deselect, and then you know what? I'm going to choose the original color of the teeth. Okay. So for this guy, I'm going to say pick this color. This is the color of the teeth originally. Okay, so let's return all this, and I'm going to copy this mask and put it on this guy again. Okay, so that's definitely looking ugly. We're going to change the fill to color because we just want that layer to affect the color. Something funny is that the mask just revealed that we've overpainted, but that's an easy fix. I'll show you how to do that shortly because we've used the mask over and over, so going back one by one will be so stressful now. So this is a clean version of the teeth. All right, so all I need to do now is, I think I want to add a little warmth to the teeth. Yep. Okay, this guy is not responding. Okay, so let me just drop the opacity somewhere around here, and that's it. Okay, so now you can see, let's just group all this and call it teeth. Okay, so this is what we had before, and this is after, before, after. So yeah, I noticed the problem with the mask, so I'm just going to go back. I'm going to copy this guy and give to the layer, and then I'm going to turn off this ones, disable. So the only mask operating is the one at the folder level, so we'll be affecting everything at the same time. So pick my brush and then paint out of here. Okay. Just okay, no comment for now.
Fuse ODG and SPZ, what we tell them, blaze them. Look at you in that dress, girl, you dangerous like a gun. Give them you nothing less, girl, you murder everyone. Your love is a killer.
Okay, so I'm beginning to think that the curves might just be too much. A little bit. And then I want to drop this one a little more. Okay. All right. Okay, so I don't think I would dodge and burn this. Let's just do a general push on the entire image, and then maybe some kind of vibrance. Okay. So lazy way of editing. All right. So I think this is where I'm going to end this one. So So let's call this after, so we can compare what we had before. So we're coming from here, and now we are here. So the photograph is about this subject. I think this guy might just be too much. I'm going to drop the effect a little bit. Probably bring this guy down a little. Okay. So from this to this, from this to this, from this to this. So I'm just going to save this, and we'll move on to the second image, and then we'll call it a day. So any questions so far? Let me check. Nope. We got peak. It's gonna be funny. You're welcome, sir. Peak Studio. Okay, Mr. Shile, what's the comment? I think I should just switch to the commenting on my phone so that I don't keep disturbing your visuals. How do you get to YouTube on your phone? Almost there. Okay, my phone is terribly slow, so I'm just gonna do this. Mr. Shirley, do we have your question? Okay, I will check back for your comment. So we're done with this guy. Are we? Are we still in government? Why is this guy rolling? Okay. All right. We're still in government. So, okay. So with this one, we can, I'm not going to edit this one because we're probably going to use the same set of ideas we used from that other editing session. Okay. On this one, so we just cover up all these points, and if you can, you may want to retain, other specular highlights on the wall here. If you can. So what would have been easier is if she was shot on a background that is plain, so that we can get rid of all this distraction, except if it was deliberate to include the previous frames on this photograph. But for me, I don't know the intention of a photographer here. For me, I will want to remove it, but this is going to take forever to do in this party. So let's move on to another image. Okay. So here's a portrait of Joyfulness. And we took this just before the COVID lockdown started. Okay, so what are we doing on this image? Do we have, okay. Mr. Biela, you're welcome. See, we are doing justice to your photo. Okay, can't we do the other side of the background? I'm not sure I get this question. Can you rephrase this question, socially? Please rephrase this question so that I'm sure, because maybe it's lagging, maybe the YouTube stuff is lagging on your end, but I have I've treated both sides of the image, so this side and this side is gone. Okay, so this is where we were originally, and now we have this, which is a decent edit. Okay, so let's move on to this. So before we start, I think it's just okay to sort of identify what exactly we'll be doing here. So this sort of, I don't know what this white thing is here. We're going to be removing that. Generally, this is a studio portrait. It's generally okay. I think we have, a lot of work to do as far as the skin retouching is concerned. So basically, that's what I'll be doing for this image. So we'll be working on the face and this other texture. The other thing I might want to do is probably remove these wrinkles a little bit. I mean, it's part of what makes the imagery, but whatever we can do to make the photograph pop better. So as usual, I'm going to start with the frequency separation script. Now for frequency separation, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, really, and then you can get some decent script also to help you set it up, or the best thing, I think, if you're new to frequency separation, is just to learn how to separate the frequency by yourself, so that you're not at any time stuck in case you're working on another system that's not yours. At least if you can set it up yourself, then you know what you're doing. Okay, so we're getting rid of all the skin blemish. Now the thing is, some people do this blemish removal before frequency separation, but I just feel that'll be too much work. I don't like too much work. So when you're copying from one side to the other, make sure you're actually copying properly. And the closer you can get, to the point from where you're copying to where you're copying to, the closer you can get, the better, so that you're sure you're very aligned. So the function of the align is to keep roughly the same distance from your previous peak, so that once you move on to a Photoshop, what's going on? So once you moved on to another portion of the image, it's not referencing from where you copied the last time. Okay, so that's the why is Photoshop freezing? Oh. Okay, while Photoshop is sorting itself out, let me see. Get it doing. Oh, okay. Okay, get it now. Okay, so let me know if there are other questions. This would have been easier if there was somebody in the chat room for me. But hey, social distancing. We are all distancing from where we are. So is this guy okay now? Okay, it's fine now. Okay, so I was explaining the other time that the reason why you want to keep the align on is so that it remembers your distance from your previous selection into the new area you're working, except you want to copy from the same points, you know, to several areas, in which case you have to keep, you know, the align off. All right. So I'm copying from this side because there are less black points on this surface here. So for this image, we didn't use makeup artist. This is her skin, a natural skin, no makeup artistry. Some argue it's okay, some argue it's not okay. What do you think? Should all photograph of women make use of makeup artists? Should there be? I mean, it's beauty. I feel every phrase can use a touch-up. But it's interesting to see that we can definitely get great and awesome images even when we don't have the makeup done. The fact that this thing is streaming is really affecting the system. Okay, so let me check for more questions. Can I diagnose the action used in this session? Yes, Shirley, I can share that with you. Look, I'm on Photoshop too, no problem. So we just have to see behind the scene. But I think what's important is that you learn how to set up the frequency separation workflow yourself. The purpose of the script is to help you work faster. The script is really not doing any editing for you. All right, the script is not doing any editing for you. It's just helping you work faster. So instead of setting it up, you know, probably I will have to use like 5 minutes, you know, or so to set it up. You just the click of a button in less than 10 seconds, the whole thing is ready. So I'll take 10 minutes over. I'll take 10 seconds over 5 minutes anytime. I mean, you should not spend eternity in front of your system. So this is where the real work is. Yeah, my system is really struggling with this. How will I do now? Okay, maybe I was working too fast. Okay, so let me walk slower. But this thing is getting too long already. Alpha, are you guys enjoying the music? Or can you hear the music? Maybe my headphone is disturbing me. So, by the way, I'm using a graphics tablet to implement this edit. So, I mean, when I was using the mouse, it's not this fast. So, with the help of a graphics pen, you can work faster. Let me see if I can show you. I'm using a cheap one, Huion 640. So let me check the image. So this is what I'm using for the edit at the moment. I wish there's a camera that can point to my editing desk, but let's just focus on the edit. Okay, so this is what I'm using, and it helps, it helps you to be a little precise when you are moving, especially when you're working with the brush a lot, like we've been doing since. You can still achieve great results with your mouse. It's just that after I've used this for a while, it just suddenly appears as if I can't do anything with the mouse anymore. Right, because this one feels, it feels kind of natural. Once you get used to it though, because when I got it new, it wasn't funny at all. It wasn't funny. But now I think I'm comfortable using it. And so comfortable that it's kind of hard to go back to using mouse to edit. I mean, the precision of control you have is wonderful. All right. So one of the things I'm doing, this spot here is, I think, something on a skin. And for things that are not like a temporal wound or stuff, and the person you photograph is not a model, I'm not going to remove such, because it's part of who they are. If you're going to be taking a passport photograph of that person, then there's some things that will show up on the person's skin, which you won't remove. But if it's a temporal skin blemish, maybe pimples or something that can be fixed, then you can use the clone stamp to remove it, since it's not something that will be there permanently. All right, so we're through with the texture. No, we're not through. This guy here on the texture, so I'm just going to select here and just copy this guy. It's fabric, so it's easier to work with fabrics. All right. Check. Any question? Especially, I also like to have the action involved. Okay, no problem, guys. Although yeah, So I think those are the things we said we were going to work on. I mean, I just feel, why not? All right. All right. So I think I'm going to leave it at this. Now moving to the low frequency, and I'm going to select my brush. I'm going to select my brush and then change to mixer brush. I remember I changed my settings the other time, the flow. So I'm going to drop my flow back to 30 or maybe 35. So this is what we're blending the colors of the skin, so that it works better together. So when you're doing this blending thing, the results typically doesn't show, right away. You just need to know exactly what you're doing and the results you're looking for. So I'm mixing the colors in this area, excuse me. And if you see my movement, you can see a back and forth flow. So I swipe to that point and then swipe back. That's the way I've been brushing. Remember, we're working on the low frequency right now, and the low frequency controls the color and lighting. Okay, the color and lighting of the photograph, because that's where you have the opportunity to shift the lighting also in post. Not like you'll be able to do really, but at least you can redirect some of your lighting. So this is where you begin to see the impact of this mixer brush immediately, because you can see that we're getting rid of the black spots on the skin. Why? Because we're mixing those black spots with the brown skin, so it's getting rid of the irregular frequencies and the low frequencies. So we're more like blending them together. Okay. All right. So as need be, you want to change your brush size. The silent rule in my head that I follow most times is I match my brush size to the size of what I'm working on at the moment. Okay, so as I'm brushing back and forth here, I'm looking at the size of the brush and trying to see that the size of the brush will not be picking from areas I don't intend it to pick. Okay, so basically I want to elongate the highlights on the lips here, make it, much more beautiful than it is already. So you can see I'm working on a smaller area now, and I'm reducing the size of the brush because I don't want the edit there to affect other areas. Okay, so I think I want to go back to the texture layer and fix some other. I can see some white stuff around the spot here. So I'll go back to my clone stamp brush. Clone stamp tool. And then make sure that your layer is set to current because we have 3 options there. So so this white point really distracting me. So you want to copy from a good area of the skin to where you think there might be some sort of issues. Right. So guys, while you're on the channel, I don't know, I think this is something I want to keep doing. So you can just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And let me know what you think of this. Is this something you like to see more of? Is this helping anybody? Don't just hear your thoughts. So many ideas in the pipeline. We have downloaded a lot from YouTube. I think it's our turn to give back to YouTube and help some other creatives as well. We are still downloading from YouTube. We're still learning, but as much as it's good to take, it's also good to give. That way the flow of knowledge doesn't stop. All right. I'm at the texture layer, so you can also use this to fix problems in the hair. I'm just doing this roughly because I know people are spending on their data. Okay. Going back to the low frequency, the color frequency, and I'm just going to roll over this, make sure okay. So what have we done so far? So this is where we're coming from, and this is where we are now. I hope you can see. Let me zoom in more. Yeah, half of the face on the screen. Can you see? So you've effectively cleaned the inflammation of the skin, but you've not ruined the skin. Okay, and then rerouting the lighting in the photogram. Actually, what helps a lot is if you've done a good job during the capturing process. So when you have a good base image to work with, life is easier for you. You're able to push your ideas very well. You can try. So I think we've okay, I said I was going to show how to treat wrinkles. So I'm just going to work on this small part to give you, still using frequency separation though, just to let you have an idea how that works. So what will help is to understand how the software, the computer, how they interpret all these things. So if you know how it's interpreted or what's controlling them, then you know how you can effect your own changes. So the texture of the image is okay, but the color, so it's the shift in lighting that makes us see that this part is dark, this part is bright. And as long as you are able to identify where the issue is. So the wrinkle is made visible because there's a difference in lighting. So if you can smoothen out the lighting vis-a-vis the color, so we'll be working on the low frequency, then we'll be able to straighten out the what is represented as texture, as wrinkle. So I'll go back to my brush and take mixer brush. My setting works. Let me just push this to 40 this time. Okay. And then I start brushing. So you can see already that we're making some progress already. I'm not sure if this is coming through on the live stream, but trust me, the wrinkle is getting cleaner. Now I'm trying to avoid so this kind of wrinkle works best on clothes that don't have all this butterfly and stuff. I think I want to increase my flow a little bit so I can work faster. So the other part I see now that is not changing could be on the texture. And the frequency separation we did was based on the skin, so it may not be working really well for the fabric at this point. So we'll have to use the clone stamp, So the easy solution is just copy from a good point. So this is a good point, and I'm copying to this point. Oh my God, I'm on the low frequency. I'm supposed to be on the high frequency, and select from here and then copy here. So most of this information was actually in the high layer. If I'd done the frequency separation based on fabric, then most of them would have been on the low frequency, but it was based on the skin. Okay, so let's go back here. Now, if you go too far in these processes, you might actually end up ruining the image.
My baby is gone.
Okay. So let's compare the before. See? The after. Although it's not perfectly done yet, but just to show you that it's possible. If it was a critical requirement of the client, then I'll probably do that. Let's look at our, okay. Because of time, actually, I won't be going into dodge and burning. But I see I have a lot of latitude here, so I'm just going to push this in to bring out some of the highlights in the picture. I think I'm just going to take it over a little bit. Okay, so let's compare where we started from. I'm here, and now we're here. Okay. Now, the background, I think I want to add a little bit of a blue feel to it. So I'm just going to do, let's do a gradient map, and let's do a dark blue in the shadow area. No, this blue is too funny. Nope. I feel this saturation is too much. I think I'm confusing myself. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, okay, so I'm going to change it to, I don't think it matters actually. Okay, now I'm going to double click this, the layer, and then on this underline layer, we're going to click on Alt and then click on this arrow to split the, okay, before we do that, so this is removing it from the shadows. No, we want to remove from highlights, so we're not touching this guy. We want to remove from highlights the blue stuff we did. We want to remove from the highlights. Okay, so what we do is we click on Alt and then click on this guy and then move one side down. Okay, I think I'll still have to move this one in a little bit, then move this one here, and then move this one even closer. So the original color is coming in. I'm still going to do a little bit of masking on this because I don't want the blue anyway on the skin. I just want it in the background. So I'm going to select on the mask and using black now. I'm changing my brush to the regular brush and okay, let's increase the size and then brush all these points away from the skin. I'm just focused on the skin right now. I don't want any of this. The stuff we did took care of most of it, but on this off quickly. So this is where I'm going to drop the flow to maybe 10, and then I'm going to use black. Okay. Remember what I said earlier about the size of the brush? I think it just helps with being precise enough when you're getting close to edges that you don't want the effect of the brush to be too evident. All right. And the beautiful thing with this is that now I can change the background color to any color I want. So if I got tired of the blue, I'm not tired of the blue, but imagine you wanted red, yeah. The red is showing a lot of anomaly, so keeping it in the dark region will keep the secrets. So obviously all these brush strokes here are not too perfect, so but if it's in the color we chose, it's not too obvious, so I'm just gonna leave it that way. Okay, so let me check. Let's check for questions. Okay, cancel the other side, but not get in. Music is good. Subscription already done. Okay, so yeah, we're going to call it a day here. I think this has been a fruitful party. I hope you all enjoyed the party. If you have further questions or something else you'd like me to do, just let me know. And as usual, let's save the image. And like we did for the other one, let's check the before and the after. So this is our after. Okay, so this is before and after, before and after. I think I want to make the blue darker. Push somewhere around here. Yeah. Then the skin can actually use a little boost, say vibrance. So around here is okay. Okay. All right. So, thank you guys for joining. If you have further questions, you can drop them in the chat or in the comments once it's done. Just a quick recap. What we did, we worked on this image. So this is where we started from, and let's turn all those guys off. So the first thing we did was to work on the lighting, the harshness of the lighting on the face. So we got rid of that and then did some touch up on the skin. We worked on the background because why not have a clean background? Okay, now the teeth, we work on the teeth, and then we had a little bit of curves and a little bit of vibrance, and that was all about this image. This one, we spent more time on skin retouching here, so you can see the difference in the lighting, the light shaping on the face, and we had some curves to this. We changed the color on the background, and then we, boost the overall color, the vibrance on the image. All right, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining the party. Let's keep praying for the nations of the world, that the Lord will heal our land from this corona plague, that we can go back to our normal lives. All right, so thank you guys. This will be the end of the, wow, we've done 101 minute. Okay, so let's end this.